This is Joe Camel. He was the mascot for Camel Light cigarettes for several decades. He's one of the most famous and well-known mascots because of his very cool demeanor and carefree attitude. Kids aspired to be like him because of how cool he was, and that was one of the main marketing points for Camel Light.
Similarly to Joe Camel, the Marlboro Man was the epitome of coolness, and his suave ways indoctrinated kids into smoking at a young age. He was a symbol for Marlboro cigarettes for over 50 years.
Like Joe Camel and the Marlboro Man, celebrities played a huge part in the marketing of cigarettes. Like Slash, the lead guitar player of Guns N' Roses, he was very often on stage smoking, and very often him and other band members would be seen in Marlboro t-shirts during shows.
Cigarettes are made by chemicals that, when ingested alone, could kill you. There are over 600 ingredients in cigarettes, and when burned, they create more than 7,000 chemicals. Among these are acetone, found in nail polish remover, formaldehyde, embalming fluid, and nicotine, used as insecticide.
One of the main problems about cigarettes is the fact that tobacco companies promote that it has a filter in it and it's supposed to help with getting rid of all the carcinogens. But they fail to tell you that but more than halfway down the cigarette, the carcinogens at least double and cause even more problems.
The reason cigarettes are so bad for you is because they are addictive. The nicotine from cigarettes lines the inside of your synapses with sticky tar, allowing you to feel better. But once the tar is gone, your body is left clamoring for more nicotine and therefore more cigarettes.
Although tobacco companies know the harm of cigarettes, they still continue every day to fight in court over big tobacco companies. They especially want to fight for advertising in very public places where many people, including children, can see.
This is a prime example of what the big tobacco companies fight for in court. Look at the tobacco being sold directly near candy bars, chocolates, and candy. These are the things that kids covet most. Who are the big tobacco companies really advertising to?
Because of the crackdown on tobacco advertising in the United States and other parts of the world, the tobacco companies have moved more to Southeast Asia, like in places like Indonesia and China, where the advertising laws are very lenient and the tobacco companies are able to advertise as much as they please.
Indonesia has become the new haven for big tobacco. Because of the country's super lenient laws against tobacco advertising, the tobacco companies can advertise wherever they want and whenever they want, and they can sell to children, which has been their number one goal since day one.
Evidence of big tobacco companies trying to advertise to children in Indonesia is Adi Rizal. He is the infamous smoking baby, where in a YouTube video he was seen smoking multiple cigarettes and his parents there witnessing it all because they had no idea about the true health risks of cigarettes.
These are some of the cigarette advertisements you can see all around cities in Indonesia. Basically, they line the streets with these advertisements, and you cannot go a block without seeing them. These advertisements are really encouraging young adults to get into smoking and make them customers for life.
Another way big cigarette companies are luring kids and teenagers in is by doing these events sponsored by celebrities that are funded by the big cigarette companies. Where celebrities like Kelly Clarkson, they come and do performances or in concerts and get money from the cigarette companies.
This is very typical of what you would see in an Indonesian store or in Southeast Asia. There are several brands and types of cigarettes, so the store caters to every kind of smoker, young or old, and many of these stores are placed near schools in Indonesia. Now, this statistic about Indonesian men may be the most staggering. 60% of all men in Indonesia are smokers. This has risen from 53% in 1995. This is because in Indonesia, cigarettes are a penny and they do not know the harm of smoking.
Although many people do know the risks of tobacco, there are still people that smoke daily and that people who still don't know the complete amount of damage that it can do. This is an example of a healthy lung compared to a smoker's lung that is completely surrounded with tar.
In addition to hurting your lungs, cigarettes harm nearly every organ of your body and causes many diseases and reduces the health of smokers in general. Smoking can cause cancer almost anywhere in your body, in your bladder, your colon, your kidney, or your larynx. This is where you will end up if you could smoke for a long period of time.
This is where all smokers will end up. In fact, this is where we will all end up. But smokers on average will die 10 years younger than all the rest of us. And annually 5 million people every year die from smoking-related illness. Now, many of the spokespeople for huge tobacco companies are actors, entertainers, celebrities. Now, although those help bring in a lot of money, you never see an athlete such as Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant. You never see any of those guys do it because their bodies need to stay in the best shape possible, and cigarettes cause harm.
China is the new country that the big tobacco companies have set their eyes upon to profit from. Home to over 1 billion potential customers, Big Tobacco wishes to make this their new haven and be richer than ever. However, this movement needs to be stopped, and you could help stop it right now.